Woot, good to see you.
Great to see you guys too. Well, not under the circumstances, but I do have to comment on something I saw from the biggest flip flopper, and we're not even in Hawaii. Craig Braggs. Can I just ask you, what in the world did any of you guys think that Justin Fields did in this game that he could have done differently?
All right.
I'm just curious.
All right,
Especially
you're coming in hot.
Oh yeah, I'm coming in hot.
You're coming in hot. And you're upset because I put on Twitter with the first pick, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams. But that's not because I said Justin Fields is to blame for today's game. It's simply what I think that Ryan Poles is going to do going forward. You know I've been leaning that way for the better half of the second half of the year. I completely understand the offensive line had a complete meltdown today. They had injuries, Luke Getsy reverting back to essentially the same game plan they ran week 1 against the Packers. And so, no, I don't lay everything at Justin Fields' feet for the abysmal performance by everyone today. But at the end of the day, like we talked about earlier here on the show, I think it's time for a change at head coach. I think there's an opportunity in front of them to get Jim Harbaugh, and they should go for that. Do I think they will? No, I think they'll run it back with Eberflus. If it was me, I'd get Jim Harbaugh. And now when you talk about the quarterback, what I would do, yeah, I'd draft Caleb Williams at this point. And there's some different reasons for that. It doesn't just have to do with today. And what do I think Ryan Poles is going to do? I think he's going to draft Caleb Williams.
Can I tell you, you said it wouldn't be just because of today. I guarantee you if the offense of Justin Fields lit it up and threw for 350 yards, you'd be on Twitter right now saying Justin Fields is our guy going forward. I guarantee you that, Bragg. I promise you that.
I want to ask you, though, your thoughts on all this. Okay, so first of all, regardless of who the quarterback is, what do you do with the offensive, just the offense? Are you running it back with Luke Getsy after everything we've seen?
No. I think even if they played a great game today, I think he had to go. I just didn't feel confident with his game plans throughout this year. Think about this, right? First game of the season, Packers, it was what it was. You had all these weeks of better game planning, more consistent offensive play, and then you have a chance to redeem yourself against your old team. And this is the play calling that he had, right? Especially early on when they knew they couldn't handle them up front, right? Where were the quick passing? Where was creative play calling? We didn't see any of that. He got outcoached in every sense of the word today. They got outplayed, outcoached. I think Luke Getsy had to go for me, even if they had a great performance today. I think he's just too inconsistent of a play caller.
So, with that being said, you're okay with Justin Fields having to go down the road of his third offensive coordinator going into year 4, which may or may not be the last year he's under contract, depending on if they pick up the 5th-year option. You're fine with that?
Yes. I feel like he is too talented to let go. The team is behind him. And I always said, when you have the chemistry of a team the way it is, guys are playing well. And I know defensively they didn't play well in this game. But I just think they're going up defensively, right? This team was playing well up until this game. I feel like it'd be hard to break it up, especially him and DJ Moore on the same page. I've always just thought if you add one more weapon offensively, you add a wide receiver, I think Justin Fields did this offense with a great play caller. I think the sky is the limit for them. So I just think you build around him and this team, and I think they could be in a pretty good situation next year. And then now you got to make a decision on what you're going to do going forward with Getsy, Eberflus, going forward.
You played at a time with the Bears where quarterback chemistry mattered a lot. Can you give us an idea of what kind of effect the chemistry, the buy-in with the quarterback can have on a defense? Because that would obviously be the risk here of moving on from Justin Fields.
Yeah, I think especially when you talk to the guys after the game or just during the week, they seem to all have his back. And it is a hard thing. I always bring up that example back in 2012 when we had a top 5 defense. And basically we kept the same defense, tried to keep the same scheme. We got rid of Lovey, Marinelli, that whole staff, went from top 5 to dead last in every category. So coaching matters, chemistry matters, the way you run things. And it's just – there's so much uncertainty with the Bears. That's why I said it'd be interesting to see what they do as far as head coach. I think they had been leaning towards keeping Eberflus. I think we could all agree with that, right? How they've been playing defensively and all that. I think for me, it's always been Luke Getsy was on the chopping block for me. Eberflus, the way he had this defense playing, was pretty lights out up until today. And, I mean, even in this game to let up, 17 points? I mean, still defensively, they played a pretty solid game. I mean, I know it wasn't their best performance, but to hold them to only 17 points in this game, I think it's still a pretty good thing. I just think the offensive plan was so abysmal. And Braggs, we talked about this in our remember how you said, oh, well, Green Bay's defense is 30th or 31st. And what did I tell you? I said, you got to watch out for this front four. I said, this game is going to be determined on how we play against their front four. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith. I said, Kenny Clark's playing at a Pro Bowl level.
Yep.
And they beat the brakes of them off front. They bent them over and they smacked that ass. That's what they did in this game.
Yeah,
And
Tevin Jenkins probably his worst performance of the year, as Mark was pointing out earlier.
What was the most disappointing part of today for you?
I think it was the offensive line, because we saw so much improvement from them all season, and they got absolutely whooped. Like there were a couple of those sacks where Justin Fields literally turned around to set his foot. They were on him. So it's such a tough situation, because I think Justin has all the talent in the world. There's things that he can do is unbelievable. I just think he's shown so much improvement in certain areas. And I know people say, well, the stats really don't line up with that. But watching the tape, watching him, we can all agree that he's improved as a passer, right? He throws some dimes out there. There's some things he's got to clean up, but I think the talent is there. I think you build around him, and it would be a shame, in my opinion, to let him go. I think you build around him.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but the one thing that does frustrate me watching Justin, because you mentioned the lack of quick game and quick options when it was very obvious tonight that they weren't going to be able to block up front. I don't think Justin does that well. I think he's way too methodical. And it's not just getting rid of the ball. It's everything, like his footwork, his drop back. For a guy who's that fast and that athletic, I don't understand why it's so slow when you see other quarterbacks that are just boom, boom, out. Boom, boom, out. And by the way, that's one of the things Caleb Williams does best. And I don't have an answer for it. I just think at this point, 3 years in, that's just who he is, and you're going to have to scheme around it. And I'm not trying to defend Luke Getsy for anything, because the plan's obviously not good enough. But I just feel like that's a big reason why they don't just let's just go to the quick game. Like, it's just not that simple with him, in my opinion.
Well, if you look at the first game when they played the Packers, I think the quick game for Chicago was there. In the first half of that first opening game, Justin Fields looked really good in the first half with the quick game, quick step, 1, 2, 3, get the ball out, rhythm and timing throws. And over the course of the game, it's hard to get in the rhythm of stuff when you're getting constantly hit, getting the ball tipped in this and some bad play calling here and there. So I think at times, like especially last week, I thought he was really efficient with this quick game. Right? I thought he was really good about getting the ball out. I think you look at today. There was press coverage, a lot of man-to-man, right? Not a lot of receivers were open. So, when you talk about Justin Fields holding the ball, I thought he got the ball out pretty quickly. I thought there was maybe one that he held a little bit too long, but I thought for the most part, most of that wasn't his fault. If receivers aren't open and they're not blocking, that's tough sledding right there.
He had a couple balls, I thought, a couple guys over the middle where he could have gotten rid of it that he didn't. And when you look at what people around the league are saying is over the middle, he's hesitant to let it go. But look, if your right guard and your left guard and your center are all having a rough day, I get it. It's gonna be a very tough time for any quarterback to be successful. Where are you at with the head coach here, Woot?
Man, that's a tough one. I think the way that they played defensively, with the exception of this game, I know Love had a pretty good game, but I think I could see them potentially keeping Eberflus, right? And I wouldn't have the biggest problem with that, depending on who they picked as the offensive coordinator. So that kind of being like, if they picked a good offensive coordinator with Eberflus here, keeping the way the defense has played for the most part of the season, I would be okay with that. But if they kept Luke Getsy as well, I'm not cool with that at all.
How hard do you think it would be for that locker room to move forward if they got rid of the head coach?
I think it'd be tough, But if they got a guy like a Harbaugh, they got a legit guy, I think they would rally behind that. I think it all depends on if they go another direction, who that coach is.
Yeah, see, Wootton, you were there when this happened. I don't think it's – I do think I would rank this second to when Lovie Smith got fired in terms of coaches that have been let go here and the impact it would have on the locker room, because I don't think there was much – no one blinked an eye when John Fox got let go or Matt Nagy got let go, and especially when Mark Trestman got let go. But when Lovie got let go, I'll never forget being in that locker room that morning. Devin Hester's crying. Everybody's legitimately upset. And that all Trestman's faults. I think it would have been even hard for Bruce Arians to come in there and gather everybody back together and get all the buy-in, because that's how much you guys played hard for Lovie. I think there is an aspect of that right now, especially on the defensive ball. And I think there's proof in the pudding to how these guys bounce back this year with all the diversity that they were fighting early in the year. But I don't know if that buy-in is to the point that, everybody's going to go, oh, no, F this. I'm not going to accept no – doesn't matter who's coming in. I'm out. That was my guy. Flus was my guy. I don't think it's to that level.
I don't think so. Because I think Lovie built up – he was there for such a long time, right? And he built this defense to such a force in this league. And guys really loved him. Lovie would do anything for you. Guys would want to run through a brick wall for him, Marinelli. I think guys really like Eberflus, but I don't think it's the same thing. So I think guys would be more angry, I think, if they moved on from Justin Fields than Eberflus.
That's where I was just trying to follow with Adam. Do you think there would be, I don't know about a mutiny, but just a locker room that – you would really have a tough time bringing back if they got rid of the quarterback?
I think stuff is always salvageable, but I think it would be more tough losing Justin Fields with just the way the guys have rallied around him, how they've spoke about him. And I think that's very telling. I know people have been really on the fence with Justin Fields. My only thing is this. I bring up the example all the time about Tua, what he was able to do. They were ready to toss him to the side, and look at him now. The difference was another weapon offensively and a play caller. So Justin Fields has all the talent in the world. There's a bunch of teams that want him right now. So my only thing is this. If you get him the right offensive coordinator and another weapon at receiver, we clean up some of these offensive line, why would he not flourish?
Yeah, you made the statement earlier, it would be a shame if the Bears got rid of Justin Fields. And I agree. As much as I'm sitting here saying I think the Bears are going to draft Caleb Williams, and I do believe that, I'd be willing to bet good money on that. I was wagering good money on that.
Yeah, somehow Woot, he went from Monday.
Well, Woot scares me.
No. Woot.
He bullied me.
Woot got it out of you, Fields, and then by halftime tonight, Woot, he's trying to bet me $500 that they're going to draft Caleb Williams.
So this is
he's a flip-flopper.
I'm flip-flopping.
It's
hard, man. I've always said this is a hard decision, but at the end of the day, what I was going to say to you is it will be a shame if this is the end of Justin Fields' career as a Bear, because it should have worked out differently. This year could have gone differently, and they could have been riding into the playoffs right now, and they could have been using that number 1 pick to get a team that was on the playoff brink better. But just with the way things have laid out, to me, it's time, circumstance, and economics that are going to play a part in this decision. And it is a shame that it hasn't worked out for Justin Fields here. And it's not all his fault. The Bears did him no favors from the moment they drafted him to sticking him with the lame duck head coach, and then to be in a rebuild, tear it all down year last year. And this year's had its ups and downs with a lot of different things going on behind the scenes at Hallis Hall. So I don't place it all on Justin Fields, but at the end of the day, I just think they're going to have a hard decision to make, and I think Ryan Poles is going to make it.
Can I ask you guys one question real quick, right? If the Bears were coming into this game at 10-6 with a playoff berth and a chance to win 11 games, will we be even having this conversation?
Be a lot harder to have it. That's for damn sure.
But I'm just saying, like, even if Justin Fields, there were the ups and downs of the season like we've seen, will we be even having this conversation?
Maybe. I throw only because they have the number 1 pick. Listen. If they didn't have the number 1 pick, this wouldn't be a discussion.
I mean, when the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, and that's where Ryan Poles. I don't compare Caleb Williams to Patrick Mahomes, but I do compare where Ryan Poles came from, and that's the Kansas City front office. I think Kansas City won 12 games the year they drafted Patrick Mahomes. So this is a different circumstance. Justin's a younger player than Alex Smith, but at the end of the day, I think Ryan Poles has been a part of a front office that took a quarterback even when their team was successful and in the playoffs.
So one last thing. So Bragg, you know how I've been big on Justin Fields the whole time, right?
You've been terrifying me, yes.
What have we seen across the board from all of the media, right? From ESPN, NFL Network, to all these analysts. After one game, they saw from the Falcons. we saw a complete 180, and right? Did we not see that? It's very interesting now that everyone's saying Justin Fields is so talented. You need to continue to build around him, right? Something I've been saying all year, but now after this game. And I guarantee you, if Justin Fields and this offense lit it up today, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. They'd say, I think everybody would say, well, we're going forward, Justin is our guy. We feel confident with him. And it's crazy how one game sometimes can make or break people's opinions on somebody, especially since it's the last game of the season, right?
I just think it speaks to how tough the decision is. Like, people really just want to draw hard lines and sand. Will Brooks here in the chat giving me some shit. That's fine. I get it, and I just think it speaks to how tough of a decision it is, and I've always kind of chuckled at people sitting on either side of this debate and being hardlined with it. It's not an easy decision, but at the end of the day, Ryan Poles is going to have to make one or the other, and I just think he's going to go with the other.
Woot, one question: how, in your mind, did today happen? This was supposed to. Yeah, how does this happen? You're coming in, you got all the momentum, you're going to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. The Bears are riding high, and then you just lay a complete egg. And maybe we could just point to the offensive line and not setting up the whole thing, but I'm having a hard time understanding how this happened today.
I think the trenches on both sides of the ball, offensive, defensive. And that's why I'm very big on building up this defensive line, using the picks for other things rather than the quarterback, because defense wins championships. Arguably the best team right now in football, San Francisco. We can all agree with that, right? They have a great defensive line. They have waves of guys. Why do you think Philly is not playing as well as they did last year? Because their defensive line isn't as good. They're not getting the consistent pressure that they got last year, right? They're missing Hargrave. They're missing some other pieces. Sweat isn't as productive this year. That's why I'm huge on continue building this pick. We don't need to use a quarterback. You build around this team with the lines. And I think another weapon at receiver. That's why I'm so big on that, because you look at all the times, who beat Tom Brady 2 years, 07 and 11? The defensive line of the New York Giants. That's how you win championships, right? Von Miller single-handedly took out Cam Newton and them. The Legion of Boom, Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett destroyed Peyton Manning. Defense wins championships, right? You have to have an offense that's productive and can make plays. But I think Justin Fields and his offense showed that they can do that. It's been inconsistency in the play calling, weapons at times, Darnell Mooney dropping balls, Tyler Scott. I think they're close. And last week, the way they were playing, they are a playoff team. So my thing is, if you continue building around that team, if we started the season 5 weeks ago, guarantee you this Bears team would be a playoff team this year, right? We can't start the season over. But the way they were playing, they were a playoff caliber team, the way they've been playing this half of the season. That's my only thing, is you build around them and you continue to get better.
Woot, first of all, it's great having you on tonight. Wish we could have done it more throughout the season. So thank you for jumping on with us tonight. Miss talking to you as much as we did last year. I know Braggs, you get stuck with Braggs every week, so
makes it even.
And I know how lucky
for that part. For that part, we apologize.
It's triply painful.
Yeah,
you ain't punking me out tomorrow, Corey.
No,
here we go. You act all big with Carmen Hoger there, but tomorrow you're like, yeah, I know, man, I know. It's like The Notebook. Hey, hun, what should we do? What, you gonna change your mind tomorrow?
I'll ask my brick.
I love the Notebook
the brick.
reference. I
Give me
did
the
love
brick.
the Notebook reference. Woot, I think we're gonna jump on tomorrow night too.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey, Brick, what should we do at quarterback here coming up? Yeah, he's
look at him.
Brick's saying Caleb too. I'm sorry.
Dude, your sweatpants on your shin region, bro. They're screaming. They're crying, bro. What are those yoga pants? Come on, bro.
No, see, you're mad. Look, you're mad at the Bears. You're not mad at me. All right, don't take this out on the wardrobe.
No,
all right,
but it's too tight everywhere, which is mortifying. We got Speedo Man here in his leggings.
Hey, that's why he can't think clearly. He's cutting off the circulation. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Woot, I'm going to quibble with you on the way out the door here. What's the Bears' best win this year?
The best win, I'll probably say the Commanders. So I think that's where they played the most consistent football. That was a good game, offensively, defensively, all around.
All right. Washington stinks.
How about the Lions at home?
But I would say maybe the Falcons. The Falcons were a pretty good
Washington,
defensive
Lions,
team.
or Falcons.
Okay,
I'd probably say Falcons because that was their most complete game, and there was a lot on the line in that moment.
I'm not quibbling with you. I'm quibbling
snow.
with Woot.
Oh, yeah, you're quibbling with
I'm quibbling with
wet conditions.
Atlanta lost by 800 points today. Their season's dead. The way I'm looking at it, they have one good win. They beat Detroit at home. They killed them. That was impressive. They after
beat Detroit.
Should have beat him the other time. Didn't beat him. Came back and got him. I don't know if how you Ryan Poles. You could look at this. You beat the Vikings with nothing. You snuck by the Cardinals and the Panthers. I don't know, man.
That's why tonight was the opportunity to really make your mark, get your win over the Packers, knock them out of the playoffs, look good doing it, and it was a complete failure.
Yeah.
What it was?
The opportunity to be like Detroit last year.
Yeah.
And they just nothing.
All right.
That was brutal.
Corey, we'll talk to you tomorrow night, okay?
Sounds good, fellas.
Appreciate it. Corey Wootton jumping in. Follow him on Twitter at Corey Wootton.
I ain't afraid of Woot.
Got to give another shout out here.
Are afraid of Woot, and you should be afraid of Woot, and you should apologize for saying that right now because I
didn't wait till he was off the screen for you to say that.
I'll tell him again tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, I think he could hear me.
Oh, yeah, he heard
Yes,
you.
he could hear
Oh,
you.
he heard you.
We all silly like the mayor.